Hi, my name is Peter Smith. I'm the CEO and founder of GEI International. We trade on the OTCQB under the symbol GEQU. As hopefully you can see on slide one of this small investor presentation that I'm going to run you through today. Moving on to slide two, you will see our safe harbor statement, which is a regulatory requirement, as I'm sure you're all aware. So please, at your leisure, feel free to read through the statement and understand what that actually means. Moving on to slide three and moving on to our company. As you can see, our statement is helping build great companies. And that's very much what we do. It's the service that we put this company together to offer. And as such, we are a global business advisor. What does that mean? Well, it really means that we're talking to small to medium-sized companies, helping them with their strategic planning, their capital raising, their management placement, and all other aspects of people developing their business from where they are today to where they want to be in the future. Normally where they want to be is to be a great company. The companies we deal with are very diverse. We are completely sector agnostic. Within our portfolio of 18 plus clients, we have 15 different industry, which just proves the point of the diversity and the sector agnostic stance. We also have companies across different countries, continents, and currencies, giving us a nice broad spread. Our main relationships are in the US, the UK, Central Europe, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. And whilst that covers great swathes of the globe, we manage all of those positions from our two offices, one of them in Dubai and one of them here in London, where I am today. From Dubai, really we focus, as you would expect, on the Middle East and Southeast Asia, whereby we have significant contact within wealth management companies, family offices, and institutions to help our clients get to where they need to be. And in this London office, we look after the US, the UK, and Central Europe. Again, we have great depth of contact within those locations. They're slightly different to the Middle East and Asian contacts here. And in the US, they're more aligned with brokers, broker dealers, etc., etc. So we have a US holding company. We are actually a US firm, which is Global Equity International. We have three subsidiaries: Global Equity Holdings and Global Equity Partners. Global Equity Partners was the original business that I founded 8 years ago, and Global Equity Partners operates outside of the US in providing advice to all of our various clients. When we conclude a transaction and we receive a piece of equity in one of our clients, that equity is passed into GP Equity Holdings, thus ring fencing the equity that the company receives to offer another layer of protection. And underneath Global Equity Partners, we have GE Professionals, DMCC, which is actually our Dubai office, whereby we run several initiatives, and one of those being the recruitment, headhunting and recruitment company that we operate there for our clients. So moving on to slide four, I just want to talk quickly about the key facts, the things that are important here. Of course, the ticker is GEQU. We got a recent price of 0.015, which gives us a market cap of just over 5.5 million US, based on 370 million shares outstanding, with a float of 211 million. Our revenue last year was $2.4 million. I think it's very rare to find a company that has revenue of this level with a market cap of such a low level. As a stock, we have been trading in this sort of 0.13, 0.2 band for quite a time, and it is our intention to take us out of that band in the near future. Moving on to slide five, entitled Investment Highlights. And here we just want to highlight some of the real key points within our business that perhaps are overlooked quite regularly by investors and clients alike, and people taking a look at our company. We're an established business. We've been in operation for 8 years now. The idea was formed nearly 10 years ago, but we've actually been operational. We've been coming to work every day for the past 8 years. Revenue, as I pointed on before, last year 2.4 million. Net income of 700,000, which was quite a turnaround from previous years, certainly from 2013-14. Another significant turnaround has been shareholders' equity. In the first 9 months of 2016, that is up 200%. And it was up quite considerably on 2015 on 2014. So we've been working hard to clean up the company to get us into the position where we need to be before we take the next quantum leap, which I'll come on to in a couple of minutes. The diverse portfolio of 18 client companies where we have either equity positions today or we're working on equity positions. And we have multiple late stage projects whereby clients that we've engaged with are at a point whereby in the near term, we will see them come to fruition. We will see the job that we were employed to do actually come to fruition. How would they come to fruition? Well, really due to the financial partners that we have around the globe. As I touched on before, in the various locations we operate, we have significant connections with companies, institutions, high net worth, family wealth officers that help us with all of our transactions. And our own management here are more than seasoned and experienced. I've been in this business for best part of 30 years. I have built a business before that resulted in 2.2 billion under management, which I sold off in 2006. And our CFO, Enzo Tadei, has been involved in many, many public listings. So we know our way around the space. We know our way around our clients' businesses. But talking back onto our own business, the final point there on slide 5 is plans to uplist on a senior exchange. Now, people may think when we see a stock price of 0.015 that this is a little bit too far to go to list up to a senior exchange where we have minimum price requirements and minimum shareholders' equity. But we believe we will conquer the shareholders' equity in 2017. And then, of course, we have the price to deal with. We also believe that as 2017 rolls out and as these multiple late-stage projects come to fruition, that will have a positive effect on the stock price, helping us towards that uplisting to a senior exchange. So moving on to slide 6, where we talk about our business strategy and model. As you can see here, we have a multi-pronged growth strategy, whereby our model is all about bringing companies in to our domain to help them get to where they need to be. And the only way we do that is by attracting as many companies as possible. So our deal flow pipeline was up 36% in 2016. We think this year it will probably show a similar figure, but the key part about that increase is actually the quality of the clients that we are attracting. 6 years ago, we were attracting companies that were possibly hard work cases. There was a tremendous amount of work to do with those clients, and some of them we're still working with them today, and we've grown with that client. Now the customers, the clients that come forward to us are of a better quality. They're much further in their own development, which means that we should be able to turn them around in a faster time. We leverage relationships with third parties. As I discussed before, we have fantastic relationships in sort of really all four corners of the world to help us get deals where they need to be. And the final point there is value-added acquisitions around the globe. We are currently identifying suitable target acquisitions in order to grow the business faster, in order to supplement and complement the organic growth that we've been going through for the past 8 years. So the model itself is we take ownership in clients. We take sweat equity. We will, upon completion of a task, we will receive a piece of equity in any of our clients, dependent on what that task may be. That piece of equity can be anything from maybe as low as 2% of the entire business, up to maybe 10% in certain circumstances, again, based on the workload that we've had to put in. We have additional revenue from cash retainers. When a client is engaged with us, we do charge them a cash retainer, and we do have cash success fees for milestone achievements. So, for example, if we have raised the company some capital along the way, on the way to an IPO or way to a reverse merger, whatever it may be, we'll also take a cash success fee. So there's three ways within the business that we make money from our clients. That is the equity ownership at the end of the contract. In some cases, it's at the beginning, but normally at the end. There is cash retainers, definitely at the beginning of the contract, and there are cash success fees along the way. In addition to those sources of revenue, we have recurring fees from our human resource division, Kingsman James, based in Dubai. Kingsman James is a headhunter, and they will headhunt suitable candidates for our clients' needs. If our client has a need for a CEO, CFO, CTO, whatever it may be, we're in a perfect position to pass them straight into our wholly owned subsidiary, Kingsman James, and Kingsman James will then find that client the right manpower, and of course we derive a fee from that. Interestingly, since Kingsman James was born in the end of 2015, so all the way through 2016, the revenue was strong from Kingsman James for a startup, and very interestingly, all of the revenue came from non-global equity clients. So Kingsman James is already standing on its own 2 feet and giving us some nice revenue. Moving on to slide 7, we've detailed just 3 of our current client opportunities. We could detail each and every one. However, we thought we'd just pick on 3 because they are so different, and they are really 3 types of clients that we deal with. The first one, Majestic Wealth, and in the third quarter of 16, we got a $301.5 million term sheet agreed. We actually had 2 term sheets in combat for the deal, and we went with what we believe to be the best fee, and potentially is an $11 million plus success fee shared with our joint venture partner in Majestic Wealth. Majestic Wealth, being a real estate project in Cyprus, is quite different in makeup and size of most of the deals that we work on. Moving down, we have Quartile Financial Solutions. These are an excellent fintech company utilizing blockchain technology to provide technology solutions to the financial services sector. The clients are all blue chip people. Q4 2016, they completed a private placement of $2 million, and now we're on with more corporate activity for Quartile to really grow the business in 2016. And third on this slide, number 7, is Granite Power. This is a real unique clean energy company. They have patented heat conversion technology. We've attracted an awful lot of interest in the Middle East for Granite Power, a little bit of interest in the US, and certain interest from the military in certain parts due to the unique nature of the technology. And we're looking at funding or helping Granite get funding of up to $35 million. So they're 3 very different types of companies, very different makeup, but to just give you an example of the sort of people we deal with. Moving on to slide 8, we have the financial highlights. And as you can see, in 2013, things were pretty poor. It was tough. We were revenue was low, of course. Net income was poor. 2014, the revenue increased slightly, and net income was pretty similar. But you can see a substantial change in 2015, and that path of change is set to continue through 2016, 17, and beyond. We perceive really that from sort of 2009, 2010, really to probably midway through 2015, we were probably more in R&D mode than anything else. We were really getting all of our connections together, getting all of our clients, and getting all of our ducks in a row. And it's only in the past year and a half and in future years that we will really see the value and the quality that comes from there. Moving on to slide 9, we have a detail of the management. from the bottom up. Patrick Dolan is the managing director of the UK. Patrick has been involved in a software and technology business for 20 plus years. He's worked with startups, SMEs in the US, in Asia, in Europe. He's been a manager of global operations for companies such as Standard & Poor's, Dow Jones, Citibank, State Street. So he has a great depth of knowledge of business in general, the technology sector, and of course the finance sector. Enzo Tade, who I referred to earlier, university graduate from Malaga, holds a master's degree in business administration. And he has been involved in many public companies and is the CFO of our entity. And I myself have been in the business for 30 years or so. I did build a financial services business with 2.2 billion, 300 plus staff, 23 offices. And when we formed Global Equity, we realized there was a gap in the market to help small to medium-sized companies achieve their goals. And that's very much what we're doing now, even though as the business is growing and the name awareness is becoming more prevalent in the markets, we're seeing much bigger transactions come forward. So moving on to slide 10, the investment highlights to really look at what we are all about here. This is a growth value proposition. We really are a growth company that have been in what you really could call an R&D type stage for 4, 5, 6 years. Now that that's completed, we have the contacts, we have the base. We indeed have solid revenues. We have shareholders' equity up 200% in the first 9 months of 16. We have a seasoned and experienced management team that we intend to grow in 2017. Our plan to uplist on a senior exchange is something I discussed earlier, and that very much is a plan for this year, for 2017, in all probability, towards the back end of the year, but it is certainly on the table for 2017. And I touched before on acquisition. We have a major revenue acquisition plan in its early stages at the moment, whereby we are talking to potential debt funders to allow us to acquire complementary business to our own into the group. We have highlighted a small number of our targets, and we have highlighted a small number of potential funders to help us to acquire the targets. And now we are working with both sides to try and find an amicable solution to allow us to really boost the growth of this company. Once we've gone through our acquisition plan, or at least stage one of our acquisition process, we will, as I have said before, develop a special opportunities fund. Now, people may ask, well, what is a special opportunities fund? And really the clue is in the name. We as a business come across opportunities that you would have to define as special every day. You could take most of our clients and look at what their capital requirements have been or indeed are. And we today will pass that requirement out to a third party. We'll pass it into our network, and somebody in our network will fund one of our clients, and the funder will invariably make some fantastic gains. They really will make some really good gains, triple digits at times. Therefore, we have decided that if we have a special opportunities fund ourselves, we'll be able to not only fund our own deals, which will mean that the fund itself will gain those triple digit gains rather than other getting those triple digit gains. But more importantly, and the real reason of the special ops fund is that it will circumvent an awful lot of the time that we spend with our clients. We call the program Closing the Circle, and we believe that with a fund on hand, a regulated international fund, we will be able to attract not only good quality clients like the clients we have today, but rather than spend 3, 6, 9 months going into the market to raise them capital, what we'll be able to do is allocate that capital at a very early stage into our client, which will save us 6 to 9 months, which means that we'll be able to process the client an awful lot faster, which means, of course, that revenue will come into GEQU an awful lot faster, which means that the value in the business will be shown, again, you guessed it, an awful lot faster. So it is a full growth value proposition. We are a full service firm taking companies from just past startup stage to funding that immediate intermediate stage from our fund, to helping them build their management, to helping them build their structure, and then in certain cases towards the end, to placing them on a recognized exchange and receiving a piece of equity for the services that we have provided. So we really do complete the circle. When a client comes to us now, we can offer all of the things that they require. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is an overview of our company, Global Equity International, GEQU. And from here, I would welcome any questions and answers, and I thank you very much for listening.
Okay, we're now ready to open the line for our Q&A session with Global Equity International. The ticker symbol is GEQU. And for the Q&A session, we have with us today Peter Smith, CEO. Welcome, Peter.
Yep, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, happy to have you here. A lot of great things going on. We'll jump right into the questions. Our first question, you have a number of ongoing client relationships that have built a pretty sizable pipeline of potential cash success fees and equity fees for the company.
Yep.
What does the timeline look like for realizing some of these payments?
Well, we do see that in 2017 we'll finally start to realize quite a few of these payments, of these rewards. Like most things in life, things take an awful lot longer than what you initially think, and in some cases, the deal, the transaction that we're doing for some of these people, sometimes the solution we come up with just wasn't right. There's no point rushing these companies through. I know that breeds frustration, but certainly in 2017, with other things that we're working on right now, we will certainly see a number of these companies actually fulfill contract, which will in turn generate revenue.
Very good. Great timing, definitely, here this year. Our next question, can you talk a little bit about the process that you use to select the companies that you add to your portfolio?
Surely. We receive, I think in 2016, I think we received 260, 270 inquiries of companies that come forward that may need our help. We have a selection of individuals. We all the management read the business plans, read the company profiles, and normally we will cut that list down to maybe just one or two a month that we actually look at. And when we're looking at a client, when we're looking at a prospect, we have to know that we can execute on the deal. Now, whether that takes us 6 months, 3 months, or 2 years, we have to know we can execute on the deal. So we talk to many of our financial partners. We do some deep dive due diligence, and when all of those boxes are ticked, we go to the clients and hopefully engage with them.
Thank you, Peter. Our next question, can you talk about when the Special Opportunities Fund might be available and how fast this could speed up closure of deals?
Well, if I answer the second part first, the speeding up of the closure of deals is phenomenal, because we will actually become check writers in our own right, and we will be able to look at a client of ours, and instead of spending 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, whatever, going around the market to get them the capital, we'll have the capital on hand. So the first part of the question was, how long is it going to take to get the fund up and running? I'm currently in the Far East at the moment. I'm in Singapore. And since January, I've pretty much been on the road. We are now looking at some very, very interesting joint venture partners, whereby we will acquire significant stakes on a joint venture basis with companies that will help us with the Special Opportunities Fund. So companies with monies under management, companies with access to institutional and retail capital. We're talking to a number of these companies in the UK, out here, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, and that's the short-term mission right now, is to tie up with these companies on a JV basis, which means there's no liquidity, no dilution, should I say. The acquisition itself will produce revenue for our business because the two services are completely complementary to each other. And the ultimate goal will be that we will then have access to our own special ops funds, which, as I said, will speed up the deal considerably. In other words, if a deal is right, if it passes through DD, and we'll pass it to an independent committee to make sure that the transaction looks good, we can probably be check writers post DD, probably within a month of getting the deal. It's a significant difference to where we are today.
Very good, very exciting, Peter. And I guess in the few minutes that we have remaining, I think really in some of these answers you've probably already kind of covered this, but really in a summary, because many of our viewers this is a new opportunity for them. Global Equity International, I think your first time here on the conference. I mean, so what's the key takeaway about the story? I mean, why should investors take interest in the company today?
I'd say simply we're a true growth opportunity. And whilst the early questions were about why is it taking so long to do things, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. However, with the Special Ops Fund coming to fruition, we will have none of those limitations of timing, and we will be able to fund deals. So therefore, a company can come into our office tomorrow when the fund is established, and they can probably be funded in a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on the regulatory paperwork that's got to go through. So we've morphed ourselves from really being somebody that takes a hell of a long time to get a deal over the line into a company that have got the check writing power in order to invest in these companies at preferential rates, which of course will bring in the cash success fees and it will bring in the capital success fees, and really prove to the community that what we've been saying for the past year or two about us being a growth opportunity is true. We are a real growth opportunity as we sit at these levels.
Yeah, we would definitely agree as well, and from the due diligence that we've done on Global Equity. And for our viewers, I just want to remind us that we were talking with Peter Smith, CEO of Global Equity International. The ticker symbol is GEQU. You can learn more about Global Equity right here at RedChip.com. And, of course, with many things seeming that are going to be coming to fruition this year, there's probably going to be quite a bit of news. And so if you want to stay abreast of that and on top of that, you can sign up for news alerts as well. And you can be one of the first investors to find out the news as it hits the wire. Again, this was Global Equity International, ticker symbol GEQU.